Hi there. Welcome back to, I guess, another episode of whatever this is called. Audio Logs 2.0. I don't know. I hope you're doing well. I'm doing well. I've had a pretty nice day today. It's been a very quiet day, but it's been a good one. I wanted to get started on my pre-course assignment thing that I was given by my university. They handed it out to everyone. Well, I say handed out, they mailed it to everyone. So everyone's got to answer this question before we begin. I've already mentioned this as well, but it's the question itself is very similar to one of the questions that I had to answer during my application process. Not everyone had to go through the same application process as me, because I will be going in as a mature student. I had a different method of getting in, basically, compared to most people. So myself and a few other of the mature students on my course, we kind of have a head start, I suppose, on this question, just because it is so similar to one that we've already answered. So I wanted to try and get started on that today, because there is a soft deadline for it. Not a strict deadline, I don't think, but they said they recommend, or they would like to receive our answers before the 14th of August, which is just 11 days from now. So, yeah, I intended to get started on that today, and the first thing I did was review my course again. Specifically, the various modules of the course, when they'll be taking place, and which semesters they'll happen in, and which years they'll happen in, stuff like that. I wanted to refamiliarize myself with my course and its modules, because the question requests that we reference specific modules on our course as part of our answer. So yeah, I spent a while this morning doing all of that stuff, and it's actually quite. I'm glad I did it, because I kind of forgot a bunch of that information, because this is all information that I was looking at last year and the beginning of this year, before I was accepted into the university. But yeah, I was looking through the different names and the modules, and I think another reason going through all of that again was good, is because on my course there will be, in each semester there will be compulsory modules, and there'll also be optional modules. And with the optional ones, I get to decide which ones I want to do. So there's a couple of options, and I basically get to refine which topics I want to learn about, I suppose. And I haven't fully I haven't finalized my decision on what I want to do yet, but I should be thinking about it, because I don't quite know how it's going to work, but on the day that I move in, I will be attending a welcome meeting, and I'll also be grabbing my keys and stuff on that day. I don't know if anything else is happening on that day or not, but I do know that um, once the course starts properly, we will all be tested on our Korean language knowledge, and based on what we get in this test, it will determine which or where we start in the course. So let me just pull this up real quick so I can look at it. So yeah, so there's two different compulsory, basically language points. I don't know how to, I don't know what to call it. Basically, if you already have an understanding, like a basic understanding of the Korean language, you will be placed on the Korean communication module. If you don't really have an idea of if you don't have any knowledge in the Korean language, and you don't know anything, they put you on the accelerated Korean module. So it's basically if you already know your stuff, your basic stuff, then you get to go on the slightly more advanced module, and then if you don't know anything, you go on the beginners one. I with my current level of knowledge, I don't know where I would be placed. I'm hoping, I don't know if I want to go on this slightly more advanced one, because I'm worried that it might be too big of a step, if that makes sense. I think even though I do already have a very basic understanding of the language, I can read and write, I can recognize letters and words. I don't know if I want to go straight up to the slightly more advanced stuff. I don't know yet. I don't know, but honestly, it will depend on what I get on this test anyway. So, yeah, but yeah. So I don't know when that test is going to happen. I don't know if it's going to happen on the day I move in. Probably not, or even the week after I move in. I think it will likely begin, or likely happen, once all of the courses and all of the students properly begin their courses. But yeah, so looking through all these modules and stuff, and I have to decide which optional modules I want to go with. And I have, for the first year of the course, I have three options for those modules. Three optional modules, and I think I get to pick one of them. Yes, I do. It's one. So we've got deaf cultures, we have multilingualism, and we have phonetics. I could read out the descriptions of all of these, but I think I'll just read out the ones that I'm interested in, because otherwise we might be here all day. So yeah, for year one, the modules, there's two that interest me, and I don't quite know which one I want to go with yet. It's the multilingualism and the phonetics. So the multilingualism module reads as such. On this module, you will address the world's linguistic diversity and consider the place of the English language in our multilingual world. You will consider language variation and multilingualism from linguistic, psychological, socio-cultural, and educational perspectives by studying topics including the multilingual mind and how multilingualism affects identity, the commodification of language, bilingual education, language policy and planning, multilingualism, and the arts. I think it sounds more complicated than it is, or more, more advanced than it is, but yeah, it's either that one or the phonetics one. And the phonetics reads as such. This module is your introduction to the principles of articulatory and practical phonetics. You will learn how to recognize, describe, and produce some of the sounds and symbols of the International Phonetic Alphabet, which I actually looked up earlier today and realized what it was, which sounds weird to say. I've seen, I think we've probably all seen the International Phonetic Alphabet before. It's like those weird symbols. Like if you open a dictionary and you look at a word, there's like these weird symbols with like slashes and like they're in brackets and like there's. It's not like any language that you've seen before. It's weird, but that is the International Phonetic Alphabet, and it's used for like identifying and recognizing like specific sounds and like varieties of English and stuff like that. It actually sounds quite interesting, but also looks very complicated. um, so yeah, this just continuing where I left off. This means you will be able to recognize, transcribe, and analyze sounds in varieties of English, other languages, and children's language. So, yeah, phonetics sounds interesting. So does the multilingualism. I have to pick one. I don't know when I'll have to make that choice. I imagine fairly soon, or at least like towards the end of semester one, because this will happen in semester two. So, yeah, I might not have to make that decision straight away, but it's worth thinking about because eventually I will. And it also like the modules that I choose, I think will determine kind of what I will be doing after my course is finished. Because if I go further down, so like year 2, for example, there are more optional modules that I can choose from. I'm actually not going to read them all out because it's going to take a while. But there's like, for example, there's in year 2, there's applied phonetics and phonology. So that would be a great segue from the phonetics in year 1. If I do that and like it in year 1, I could move on to the phonetics and phonology in year 2. That makes a lot of sense to me. If I go with multilingualism in year 1, I could go with like world Englishes or sociolinguistics or analyzing texts, stuff like that. There's also forensic linguistics, which is like related to crimes, and like how language is used in the justice system, stuff like that. That seemed quite interesting, to be honest. And there's like psycholinguistics and there's a whole bunch of stuff. But yeah, the modules that I choose will, I don't think it will necessarily like force me down a specific route later on in life. But I think, say for example, if I chose forensic linguistics and I liked it so much that I wanted to pursue perhaps like a I don't know what the job would be, like the job title would be called, but like someone who works with the justice system to like analyze confessions from criminals or like analyze like witness reports, like eyewitness reports, stuff like that. It could send me down a route of like working with the police or like something like that. So it's kind of a big deal, I think, or at least that's how I'm perceiving it to be. I don't know how big of a deal it really is, and I don't know how much or how big of an impact it will have on my future career. But yeah, it's quite a significant choice, and there's quite a few things I can choose from as well. Year 3 is the year abroad, so there's only there's only one module for that, and it's like a report that I have to write up after I come back. And then year 4 is like there's some more options in there as well. But yeah, so I'm glad I had a look at all of these again today. I'm gonna have to, I think, maybe make like a soft decision on which ones I want to go with now, so that I can answer the question that I received in the mail. I may or may not change my mind in the future afterwards. I don't know yet. But yeah, I was quite interested in reading about the specific types of linguistics, like psycholinguistics and sociolinguistics, like all that kind of stuff. Forensic linguistics. There's a lot of stuff. It's pretty interesting. But also, it's worth noting that not every module will be available every time, because it depends on the popularity of the module, like how many other people choose it, and it also depends on like staff, like teachers to actually be around to teach it. So yeah, I pretty much spent the first half of my day doing all of that kind of stuff. I still don't really know. Like, I have like a vague idea of what I want to go with, but yeah, it's a lot. But hopefully, this research that I've done today will help me to answer that question. I was hoping to actually start writing it today, but I did not get around to doing that. I got distracted earlier on this afternoon by the Olympics. The Olympics has been something I've been watching pretty much all week. Even earlier this week when I was away, down visiting family, we watched the shooting, the Olympic shooting. We also watched some of the swimming events. Today I watched a couple of the gymnastics finals. I think it was the men's floor routine final, which I believe was won by someone from the Philippines, I think. And it was like the first time in history that the Philippines have won a medal or something like that. So it was quite a big deal for him. It was actually it was quite emotional to watch, because he was emotional himself, and completely understandable. And then straight after that was the women's vault final, I believe. And I don't know, I didn't stick around to watch the end of that, but Simone Biles is quite a big name in women's gymnastics, and she had a very strong performance, which was quite interesting to watch. I'm not really into gymnastics that much. I actually used to do gymnastics when I was younger. I was around like the age of like maybe 10, 11, 12, like around around that age. I did gymnastics for like a year or two, I think. Earned myself some certificates and things like that. Never competed in any competitions or anything, but yeah, it was good. So yeah. Oh man, I've just been talking a lot. Um, yeah, yeah. So that's kind of been my day. I haven't done a whole lot else. But it's been a good day. Yeah. I think I'll call it here, because I got a bit carried away talking about what I was just talking about. But yeah, now I don't know what to say. My brain is like fried. But yeah, I guess I'll go. I'll go. I'll be back tomorrow, I imagine. Yeah. Thanks for listening, I suppose. I will see you next time. Good night.